What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the DNR podcast. I'm your host, Ben the Bane Davis, alongside my co-host, Riley Osborne, and we've arrived to the last two episodes, right? Part 1 and Part 2 of the final of Challenge Season 41, Vets and New Threats. Now, this has been a really great season overall. There's been a lot of drama, a lot of really interesting gameplay, some fun daily challenges, and some difficult dynamic eliminations. But it all comes down to this, Riley. And I gotta say, the teams that have made it to the end, I would say, were the strongest players, strongest teams out of the whole season.
Yes, and before we dive in, because we will forget, I guarantee we'll forget, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't.
Please. Hey, we're trying new stuff.
Yes, check out the Dispatch show we did, because that's an 8-episode season that we're doing. It's really fun. A lot of you missed it. So I think that people are going to really...
A lot of you chose to not tune in, which is fair.
My feelings a little bit.
It's got a little sad. But no, if you guys could, help support the DNR podcast. We want to do a lot more than just challenge-based content, other reality TV shows, things outside of the reality TV scope. So please support us. We appreciate it, definitely. But what I appreciate, Riley, is how interesting this final kicks off. So obviously this is part 1. This is the first half of it. And I will say the intro to this episode kind of outlines everyone's storylines. It goes through a compelling case for each team, the trials and tribulations they've had to go through to even get to this point. And I gotta say, it's not difficult to find yourself rooting for everybody. I don't know if that was your thought, Riley, but I kind of was sitting through that opening, hearing and reflecting on everyone's journeys, and I was sitting there and I was like, man, everybody kind of deserves to get that big slice of the cake.
Yeah,
except
no,
for...
they
don't. Yeah, I will say, Sydney, we'll just get into Sydney and Turbo, because Sydney, I'm going to say this right off the rip, she's a gangster, a badass, talk about putting the team on her shoulders and going, fuck it, we got to get the job done. I've said this all season.
Yeah. She knows ball, as the kids would be saying right now.
She's got the dog in her. Sydney has got that dog in her. I just fucking hate her ego.
I just hate her guts.
That makes your personality is kind of garbo. She literally says, and I quote, "I don't think anyone has a chance against me individually, Turbo individually, or us together." That's like one of her first quotes to kick off this episode, and it couldn't be more wrong as this first half of the final commences, and we'll get to it in the specific points where we get to, but let's just take a step back. What the fuck is Turbo doing?
Dude, Turbo has decided after quite a strong season, I'm just going to fall apart right at the end. I don't know what it is. I don't know if his legs are still reeling from that bike ride the other day, which he'd never done before.
Yeah.
Or what. But this has been I will say, I don't want to jump too far in, but the ability for everybody to just grind out this season and then get to the finale and be like, this is kind of too hard, actually.
I don't think I can do it.
I don't really want to do this anymore. It's been really shocking. And especially Turbo, who, dude, the guy does not shut up about what I'm
a tough warrior, and I'm
gonna
episode.
My legs hurt.
My legs
are really sore.
It's whimpering.
dude, what? Michaela's ankle's broken 3 times, and she's chugging along. This guy's I'm kind of sore.
I'm a widow hurdy-wordy.
Yeah, I didn't get enough water last night. Dude, get over it, man.
It makes me feel like someone kidnapped Turbo and replaced him with this double or this doppelganger that has none of but okay, so we've got several checkpoints that the teams need to go through, and at the end of them you get on a helicopter, and that takes you to kind of the next half of the finals.
Pause there, Ben, because I just kind of want to go over something for maybe people that haven't dove into the previous seasons of the challenge. The finale, what does it normally look like? In other seasons, is it similar to this, where it's a bigger multi-stage event? Is this kind of new? Talk to me and talk to some of the fans that maybe this is their first season. Kind of what we should expect and what the challengers are expecting.
So I would say, and again, my knowledge on previous seasons is still quite limited, but when you think about a final, it's like a culmination of everything you did in the season in some way, shape, or form, right? Maybe a portion of the daily challenges comes back to haunt you. I know in season 39, Battle for a New Champion, the final was quite literally this same thing where you had running to just tons of different checkpoints. You had a big run down a mountain. You had to do through an eating challenge in the final. And then there was one portion in season 39 where it was like 5 different checkpoints all in one little area that were pieces and parts of past daily challenges. So one of them was running across a little balance beam. One of them was doing Sudoku. There was math. There was like, putting different colored rings, I think, in their own respective rows. So it's kind of like just the biggest and baddest of everything. And in between all these checkpoints, that's where they try and stress the cardio, whether it's running. Season 40 was a huge swimming one. You had like swim between islands, which was pretty crazy. So it's kind of just, they try and say, hey, this is the final, and if you want to run TJ Lavin's final, then you better be prepared for the worst of the worst. And typically there's also an overnight segment, which it does look like, not to speed through to the end of this episode, but it does look like we're getting a big overnight portion. So it's just a big bag of everything bad is effectively what a challenge final is.
Yeah, because going into this one, you can see, like, there's a mentality shift around giving it your all.
Yeah.
It seems like everybody, I got to save my energy, I got to make sure I'm good for the next one. At this point, I am convinced that is going to bite these people in the ass.
Yeah.
Because it seems like these guys are like, if I lose everything today, it's okay. I'll have energy for tomorrow. And it's like in a boxing match when a fighter is like, I'll take the first 6 rounds to figure this out.
Yeah.
And then they don't figure it out. And then they're playing catch up for the next 6 rounds. And so that's how it's starting to feel, because some of these guys they're just kind of playing patty cake off the rip. So anyways, we'll go checkpoint 1 is this river run. Kayak down the river, memorize 7 specific items down the way. This is what we would call a normal name for this is called a Kim's game, Ben. I don't know if you've ever heard that terminology before, but so you go, you memorize a group of items, then you run usually an obstacle course of some regard. Maybe you have to, in the military it would be, we'd study these items, then we'd go complete an objective, and then we'd come back and we'd be tested on the items. So it's your ability to remember something while under strenuous activity. I think this is awesome, because the kayak down the river, I mean, if you've never kayaked before, you're locked in on not flipping all over the place, let alone trying to memorize things
7 different
side.
Items. Yeah. No. And it did seem like a couple of the teams were new to kayaking. That was maybe their first introduction. I know that Cedric and Michaela, they were quite fun to watch during this, because they couldn't get it going. Nothing was going right for them. And at one point, I think they flip. I'm not sure whose fault it was, but they cut to this wide shot, and Cedric has like magically gone 80 yards down the river, and Michaela's stuck with a kayak, all the way up front. And so I don't know, it's just kind of it's just funny in the calamity right up the get-go. And to your point about like mentality, right, this is a really brutal climate to place these people into, right into a river where it's freezing. Like, you might get a little shock to the system where you go, ooh, I don't know if I got that dog in me. But either way,
the cold is the ultimate equalizer. It undoes you. It undoes you. It does. Yeah, there's nothing like it.
But okay, so in terms of who reaches this point first, where you have to kind of line up and say what the 7 items were down the river, I think Jeremy and Olivia got there first. They called check first. They got 2 of them wrong, so they got a 4-minute delay. Sydney and Turbo right behind him, they called check. 4 wrong out of 7, the most wrong out of any team, but okay. 8-minute delay. Michaela and Cedric, they get 2 wrong, 4 minutes, and Theo and Adrienne, 3 wrong, so 6 minutes delay. I don't think that this is like super consequential in terms of like the minute. It's only a 2-minute delay, and I get that, you're a little bit set back, but then when you take you look at the forest for the trees, 2 minutes wasn't really that big of a difference, right? So I wish that there was something different instead of a 2-minute penalty for this first checkpoint. But
so I was gonna say, Ben, like my big thing is, I think that the time balance was messed up, because it's almost as if you could just bomb the river
and then just
not even worry about it.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, I'm gonna get maybe 30% correct anyways.
Yeah.
And then I'll only get, it's kind of what Sydney and Turbo did. They got only 4 out of 7. So they're almost guessing. They're borderline
Plus, they got
guessing.
3. They got 3 out of 7 right. Yeah, they literally had no idea what they were doing.
Yeah, so it's like, and it didn't have that much impact, you know? So they're just bombing this river. Oh, whatever. I don't know. I didn't like that. I didn't love that.
Yeah.
But because I thought it was a really good test, because then it's like, when I'm watching these normally, it comes down to the team being like, all right, should we take our sweet time and really nail this objective, or should we just rush and kind of wing it? And then they have to make that balance, and it felt like the balance was to rush and wing it.
And I said this last episode with the final daily challenge of the season. I just wish that there was something a little bit more dynamic. I wish there was a layer on top of it, like maybe unlocking those 7 little frames, tiles with the names on it. You had to go through a puzzle. You had to do something, right? To your point about going through an obstacle course and then testing the memory. This was really just get down the river and then boom, you are right into testing the memory, right? So I feel there should have been something before that process to unlock the box, to get all its tiles out, and then go, okay, which ones were which ones? Because it just, to the first checkpoint of many, and already we're seeing some heads butting. You know, the biggest instance was Sydney and Turbo. Turbo, who again speaks very broken English, is not the guy that I would probably want spearheading something that involves English, taking command and saying, no, is this, and Sydney just kind of throwing her hands up and going, all right, fuck it up, and then they end up getting 4 wrong. So already you're kind of seeing the cracks that have formed during the season really presenting and getting magnified at the beginning of this final.
Was that the rune memory piece?
That was, yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was Turbo's ego.
100%.
Because he's like just a mess, and then he gets to this point, and he's like, I've got this, and I feel like he was more intent on just proving himself than anything, because we kind of watched over it a bit there, but yeah, this guy's been a mess so far.
Yeah,
he's like waddling along beside Sydney, who's looking like the Terminator. Unbelievable this episode,
she's just
by the way.
hitting a stride. Yeah.
We kind of skipped over it as well, but Michaela explodes her ankle yet again.
Yeah. Which, let's
like,
sit on that for a moment.
I don't know, dude. Yes,
because
I want to talk about this.
She is so compromised, and I know you and I had an exchange a couple days ago. We were texting each other, and I was, because after I watched the final, I was like, oh my god, this and this happened. And what were your thoughts on Michaela's her physical state of being?
Dude, it's like when you're having a bad dream and you're trying to run away from somebody, and you keep falling. That's what Michaela's been like for the last 3 episodes. Yeah. And I don't buy it, dude. I do not buy it. Because to me, this is just me, I just haven't really experienced an injury where I'm like, ooh, that hurts so much. I can barely walk, and then 30 minutes later, I'm sprinting to complete a challenge. Yeah. And then 30 minutes after that, I'm injured again. Like, it's just not how injuries work in my visualization of injuries. So it's like, to me, I feel like she's like running and she gets tired and she's like looking around and like, I hurt myself again. We have to slow down. It's not me it's not me pussying out here. It's I've injured myself yet again. I'm so
injured. Yeah.
And I've seen people do this in real life where they're like, doing some hard physical activity and then they just fall over. Oh, my leg, and then they're limping on the wrong leg or something. You know what I mean? And it's like, so I don't know. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Like, let's just say, like, straight up, I just don't really buy it that much. Especially, Ben, she's rolled it like 76 times at this point. It's like, at what point is it broken? At what point are you actually injured out of the season instead of just, oh, my wings are a little clipped here, guys. I got to slow down. I'm grinding through it. It's like, maybe you're just a little soft. And it's even Cedric is like, I'm dragging you, like, Michaela, like, I can't do this forever. I'm digging so deep, and I don't know. It's just, it just feels like she's not prepared.
Yeah, his quote is, I don't know how much longer I can keep this up, which is crazy from Cedric because that was before checkpoint 2 in this final. Like, that's early on, and he's already at this point where he goes, dude, I'm at my limit here.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like he's giving his everything. Right. He's like digging so deep to try to like make them even competitive. Yeah. And he's trying to tell her like, I can't keep this up. You have to do your part. You will get blown out of the water otherwise.
Which is, and I want to sit on Michaela because I want to devil's advocate her injury and talk about that. But I will say, on an aside, this final, at least the first half of it, has been new threat focused. It's been new threat dominant. Adrienne pulling Theo's ass. Jeremy doing a lot of heavy lifting for him and Olivia. Cedric
Sydney
pulling along Michaela. And Sydney just busting her ass to try and get her and Turbo to the expectation and the bar that they both know they're at. Like, it's kind of frustrating that the vets are just taking a huge backseat and not showing any interest to up their tenacity, up their urgency. Like, again, this is the final. This is what you spent 2 months in Santiago, Chile for. This is $212,000 on the line or whatever it is, respectively for the winning team, each of them. So it was really frustrating. And to your point, like you mentioned earlier, how sometimes, and we'll get to the Stairmaster at the end where Olivia is saying, I'm going to save my legs, and just sacrificing Jeremy multiple times. But yeah, it was really frustrating to watch all the new threats have to pick up slack. But to the defense of Michaela, I want to devil's advocate this, and I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just simply, presenting the other side. This was a very grueling season for a lot of people. Like, even when I was there, which was only the first, 3 weeks or so, 4 weeks, constantly the vets were needing the medical tent. They were getting checked out after each daily challenge. Theo was just a bundle of bandages, and people were constantly concerned about whether or not he was going to be able to continue, right? His knee, his back, everything was fucked up. For Michaela, again, I think that same thing can be applied. This was a really demanding season, and now she's compromised, and this ankle continually keeps bugging her, and maybe there is an element of when she gets tired, that injury is exacerbated, and so slowing down, taking a little bit of a pause, resetting the physical condition, and then buys her a little bit more time before it acts up again. You saw when they kind of took her shoe off that it was heavily bandaged up. I mean, that was like a mummy. It was wrapped up like a mummy. So, I think that there is truth within it. And with how running dominant this final is and how running dominant the last several episodes have been, right? I mean, that cave, talk about a horrendous type of situation for someone with a busted leg, right? You've lost a wheel and now you can't see where you're walking. You're kicking rocks and rolling it time and time again. Like, I don't know. I think that it's certainly affecting her. There could be a level of inflation, but then it's like Michaela's not someone that's shown quit in her. She's not someone that's shown this weakness physically when it comes to challenges. Like, bro, think about the Nani elimination. She blew through Nani, no problem.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
That almost does work to your point, I suppose. But
yes, it does, right? It's like, for me, it's a grit thing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of all I'm seeing here is it's like this hasn't shown up in these moments of explosive power, which is kind of where injuries, you can really feel them more than anything. Yeah. It's only shown up when she needs to dig deep and show grit. And then it's all right, I got to slow down. So
I'll have to
look, dude. Injuries are this thing where it's like, and like I said, I've been exposed to people faking injuries like way more than I think the average person has. So maybe I'm more like sensitive to it, where I'm like, oh, I think you're faking it, which sucks to say. It does, and I've had to do it to people where I'm like, I know you're lying, and it's like it's a really awkward conversation to have. To just be like, hey, like, you're lying, And
I'll say this, the difference is you are directly in front of them, you're seeing them and can analyze that in real time. This is, right, it's edited and we're not seeing the entire thing. Like, I'm willing to give her the benefit of that doubt. Sure, we can have our skeptical thoughts on it.
Which is why I wasn't even actually going to bring it up on the pod, but whatever. You kind of dragged it out of me.
I kind of put it out.
That's just like an inkling in the back of my mind where, like I said, like that's what I go to is just like, like, so that was my only thing. It just, I was in...
Michaela, Riley doesn't believe you.
No, I will give her the benefit of that. Like, for all intents and purposes, she's got the benefit of the doubt. But there is a little voice in the back of my head that's like,
I don't know about that. All right, well, let's take it to...
And that's just the truth.
Let's get to checkpoint 2, which is the room memory. Obviously, we talked about Sydney and Turbo, and Turbo, really just trying to dominate that, push Sydney out. And to be fair, I will say that this seems like something where one chef in the kitchen is perfect, and 2 chefs in the kitchen could be too many, because it's so dependent on, matching your 10 runes to TJ's, which are hidden below. And if you've got 2 people working on it at once, they can just keep erasing each other's progress and setting the whole team back. So I think that Turbo could have gone about that in a way better way, and I that's my thought on it. But I do think that the right approach was one person steps up and does it, and the other person just makes sure that they're crossing the T's, dotting the I's. While this is occurring, Michaela does fall again, but somehow they're still ahead of Theo and Adrienne, which I just think is crazy. You've got Michaela, who quite literally is hobbling on a peg leg, and then Theo is just gassed out instantly and can't close the gap. I'm going to say this, it's pathetic. His performance was pathetic.
Theo is a racehorse when he needs to be a diesel engine. He needs to be...
There's got to be gas in the tank, man. There's got to be gas in the tank.
Dude, it's like he's only got jet fuel. And I know that jet fuel is diesel, thanks everybody, but I mean, he's only got this specific ability to run for 25 seconds. The way this dude fell apart,
unreal.
Yeah,
and
the pathetic is the right answer, Ben, because it's holy shit, dude. That's kind of how I felt with it. You're one of the only guys on this season that's an athlete.
Yeah,
so
that was an Olympic level sprinter. Yeah,
and I understand that he was a sprinter, and he probably hasn't done much distance work. But you're the only one who's a professional athlete who's coming on this show who understands how to prepare, and you clearly didn't, right? Because you're coming on this show, it's not a sprint event, and yet here you are, totally unprepared for any sort of distance work. Just, dude, I mean, God,
you've had 2 months.
And then the way he fell apart, he's like, "Mommy saved me," to his partner Adrienne. That's what it looked like, and it was bro, you have dug so deep in every single elimination to somehow, through a miracle, get yourself here. Yeah. And now the wheels are falling off. It's just dude, the timing. Think about all the work you've done to get here. It feels to him, in a way, I feel he feels like his job's done, and he's got Olivia to where she needs to be, and they're both betting on Jeremy. That's how it feels.
And he literally said that. He was like, "We got a 50% chance of winning."
Yeah.
I feel he almost de-incentivized himself from putting everything he could into it. And maybe Theo felt like he was putting everything he could into it. But it's just crazy that in 2 months down in Chile, where you have nothing but time to, work on your body and work on the gas tank a little bit, swim laps, get on the bike, and, that's a lot of time. It's 8 weeks, if you think about it. And granted, you're in tough conditions. You're going through the daily challenges. With Theo, you had 4 eliminations, which is stressful, and a lot of wear and tear on the body. And again, his knee, his back. I get all that, but it's hard for me to think that in 8 weeks he couldn't have added anything to the tank. In fact, it seems like he had, more ability to do long distance at the beginning of the season than the end, which is a little bit wild to me. I get that it's a demanding show. Trust me, was there. But all you do when you aren't doing the daily challenges or the eliminations or whatever else is just hanging out and working out, and I don't know, it's a little bit like Vacation Central, and I don't know, it just bothered me. But okay, let's take it back to checkpoint 2. So Jeremy and Olivia get their second. They take a smart approach, hop each one down, get it done, easy peasy. Jeremy, again, directs this one. Olivia lets him take the reins. We cut back to Sydney and Turbo, who are taking the lap. I mean, they finished this second checkpoint before everybody. They are so widely in the lead. But Turbo is quite literally
They do have an 8-minute time penalty. They're widely in the lead, but they have an 8-minute time penalty, correct? From the first challenge? Or is it each objective is their own thing?
Yeah, because they served that 8-minute time penalty at the first one and then went on. So it was all, I mean, that's all erased. But it's again, we've harped on it. Turbo he's seemingly so much more physically fragile than every other dude. And I'm not using the term Theo. Right, other than Theo, which is like, how is he neck and neck with the guy that he's been shitting on this whole season? You know, like Turbo loves to do this thing where he'll and they cut to it, I think in this episode where he's like shitting on Derek Chavez and CT, calling them liars and how they're fake. And I can't think of anyone more fake than Turbo, because the dude constantly pumps himself up to this insane degree, and then he gets a little cold and he can't do anything. And he
literally
can't run, and he's whimpering.
Takes a dip in the water, and he's crying. And even in the last, 3 episodes, the guy has been leaning on Sydney for everything. Everything. Yeah. He's been like, you know. It's
yet still wants to control her.
He's
right?
he only gets Turkey right. She gets every single one of these countries right. This dude's sitting there. Oh, I know where Turkey is. Like, good job, big guy. Yeah, it's like he's riding the coattails of this, you know, absolute weapon that he has as a partner. Yeah. And then trying to, like you said, be controlling and act as if he's the big man here. And it's like, bro, you're not doing anything, dog.
You're not the driver,
a passenger.
Bro. Yeah, it's pathetic. And like Sydney, I think in one of her confessionals expresses that. She says like, oh, this guy came from, you know, Survivor in Turkey, where you're doing Survivor for 6 months, and he's done all these things with broken bones and pushed through these things, and seemingly just doesn't have that ability, that X factor to turn it on here when, you know, you think he's got all of the motivation in the world to, especially when you have a partner like Sydney who is just delivering in droves. But either way, like, they're still widely ahead. Theo and Adrienne, they finally get to the fucking second checkpoint, but they're so far back. I mean, I think Adrienne less so, but Theo, I think, is checked out at this point, which is mentally. Checkpoint 2. Like, he's literally laying on the ground while Adrienne is struggling through the rune memory, and I'm like, but this is checkpoint 2! We just started!
Yeah, and Adrienne, again, like her claim to her physical ability is, like, weight loss. Like, and this guy was
an Olympic-level athlete.
An Olympic-level athlete. Like, how the hell does that work out? And it is a reminder to me how...
And that's no disrespect to Adrienne.
There's so many athletes. No, that's not a shot at Adrienne at all.
Of course,
I'm just saying he's an Olympic level athlete. You know, and it's just, dude, it's just working in the space of professional sports. Yeah. It is amazing to me to this day what babies a lot of these guys are. It is truly amazing to me. And because, you know, I've, again, like, seen a lot of quitters, but I've seen a lot more guys with incredible grit. Right. And so when I meet these guys that I'm like, oh, wow, you should be able to blow this out of the water just fine, and they get a little cold and they get a little wet and they fall apart, it's like, I mean, I guess you're so used to this controlled environment and this specific thing. I'm really good on a track in controlled weather this time, you know, and then when it's not that, they're just totally falling apart. And I guess Adrienne she's way more conditioned to reality. This is what it's actually like. This is what difficulty is actually like, showing up every single day and grinding and showing that grit and
doing a shit ton of cardio. It's and honestly, like, and you see where Theo does shine. And again, we've spoken about it in the eliminations, in these really focused moments. But that's not. I mean, I'm sorry, like, it's not going to be enough, right? And that's the beauty of the equalizer of a show like The Challenge, where you could take an Olympic-level athlete who has such a niche discipline, and they display, hey, I'm not really that excellent anywhere else. And you can have an average, I don't want to call Adrienne average in that sense, right? But a regular person like Adrienne, who simply busts her ass at the gym, beat the fuck out of an Olympic-level athlete in so many different athletic boxes. Like, it's awesome to see, right, in, like, that sense, but then, you know, you shift the cube and the frame in your POV and you go, that's terrible for the team. And in this situation, how pathetic. But either way, so they get there to the second checkpoint, and Sydney and Turbo arrive around the lap, and they get back to the little checkpoint area for the third checkpoint, which is called cube alignment. So you have to arrange the cube so each color appears once. Every color appears once in every column and every row. It basically colors Sudoku, which they click in right away, and they just dominate it. Like, Sydney takes the reins, destroys it. She's so fucking cocky, but she's so good. Dude. It is. You gotta tip the hat.
Dude, I'm like, I'm like this close to rooting for her.
Right,
Because it's like you're so good, and she's like, yeah, I'm the best, and you're like, oh God, you are
right, you are.
You ain't wrong. Like it's like.
It's crazy to me that Theo and Adrienne are so far in last place that they're getting lapped in the final, and they aren't even kicking it into gear.
Ben, do we know how far this lap is?
I don't. I wish I had locked it down.
They
not
don't
too
really
sure.
mention it.
Probably mile or two, I would say. Nothing insane, because it seems, if Sydney and Turbo are able
lapped, it can't be more than like a 10-minute run, I don't imagine.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, Olivia and Jeremy, they arrive second to the third checkpoint, and they struggle a lot on this one, which was a little bit surprising. Michaela and Cedric show up, and right when Cedric and Michaela arrive, you hear Olivia and Jeremy go, "Oh, should we start over? Let's just start from scratch." Which, I don't know about you, but like I just, it's kind of blowing a bit of a lead, right? I don't know what.
Yeah, it's hard to put myself in their shoes because. We don't know what they were working with, and they seem to get it together. So maybe that was the right strategy for them. Maybe it wasn't, but that was the decision they went with. Yeah.
Either way, Theo and Adrienne, they arrive right when Olivia and Jeremy are leaving. Michaela, Cedric, they get it done. Doesn't seem too difficult. I think I might have mixed things up, but this is where Theo literally just lays on the ground and says, "Do you think you can do it?" and throws the responsibility over to Adrienne, and is just sucking water, laying in the grass, which is. Come on. It's awful.
And you've been not that good this whole time. It's not like he was carrying early and then it's like, save me now. It's like, yeah, even when I go back, they got 3 wrong on the water raft. They're last by far
to the second
even
checkpoint.
at the second checkpoint.
Third
and
checkpoint,
now he's at the third and he's given up. And it's like, bro, if you were just this weapon for the first 2 and you gave it everything and you didn't time yourself properly and so now you're screwed up, that's one thing. The fact that he's just been getting dragged this entire time, to me, it's mental. I think that he's looking at Jeremy and Olivia and he's just gone, they're better than me.
Yeah.
That's my hope. And he's capitulating. I really think that if the stakes were higher for him, he'd have that other gear.
And maybe if like the third place prize was higher, instead of 12 grand, 25 grand, whatever it was, maybe that would kick him into a different shape and frame of mind. But like, you've got Michaela, who literally does not have an ankle, somehow beating the fuck out of this Olympic level athlete as well in distance running. It's just, come on. But I will
that
say,
doesn't make you question anything, Ben?
Listen, because what you just talked about with mentality, I think Michaela does have this very ambitious mentality. I will say there are not many instances where she is quitting or wilting or allowing any of this to affect her performance, right? I think she's someone who is like everybody is probably dealing with something. I believe that ankle is compromised, but she's just got an ability to hit a switch.
There you go. Lock in.
She's just locking the fuck in.
She's just locked in.
So Sydney and Turbo, they arrive back to checkpoint 4 again while Theo and Adrienne are still there at the color puzzle or color Sudoku, fucking it up. And now we arrive to checkpoint 4, which is the stair machine joust. The framing is basically first team to fall off will lose in a head-to-head against another team. The winning team progresses to the helicopter. The losing team has to wait for the next team and then do another head-to-head and then rinse and repeat until obviously all 4 teams have gone. So I don't like this. I don't like this at all, actually, because it literally just erases the lead that City and Turbo had, pretty much every team had, in a sense. And I get that maybe that's the surprise. That's like a big twist, a bomb that we threw at you. Hey, you busted your ass to come first in this day 1, but now it doesn't matter. But like as a viewer, right, that kind of throws a knife at me as well, because it's like, why am I getting invested in the stakes of how far apart these teams are when unexpectedly none of that matters, right? It's a little.
Yeah, I hate that.
I just don't.
That. Yeah, there's the only other lens I could look at that is the lead team gets the most time to rest, but they also went the hardest.
Exactly.
So it's like if I just coasted and I show up and I've got the most energy for this Stairmaster. Now I win, whereas these other guys like gave it their everything, and it's useless.
And put like imagine City and Turbo had like a 45-minute lead on everybody, right? And then they just have to sit and wait. And again, that's time for resting, but it's also like,
but it's also time for your body to cool off, and then now you're cold, and you got a cold start again.
Lactic acid's building up too. Yeah. It just to me
like
maybe it was like a, hey, you get to the Stairmaster and you and your team must have a combined hour on the Stairmaster, and you can divvy it up any way you want. You can take as many breaks, but you need to spend an hour on it. It's something where it's like,
or just maybe not this, like maybe just not at all anything to do with the freaking Stairmaster head to head.
Sure.
Yeah, no, I didn't like that at all.
Maybe it's Checkpoint 4 is a boxing match with Ben the Bane Davis. If you beat
all raw. No, you could. No, I'm saying you could put it in the framework of the team 1 has a 10-minute lead. Team 2 has a, where they get some sort of award, but for nothing. Hey, no, you're just doing a head-to-head. I absolutely hated that.
Imagine like if you put the Stair Machine Joust earlier in the checkpoints, maybe when, the distance between teams wasn't so wide. I think that could have worked. Like, imagine you end with the river memorization and you kick it off with the stair. I don't know, something in that.
So how was it though? Like, you do a head-to-head with one team.
Yeah.
Winning team goes away. Losing team has to do another head-to-head. Was that it?
And then
weird.
Yeah, and like that's the thing is, and this is the position that we'll get into kind of how it occurs. So Sydney and Turbo, they get on it after Jeremy and Olivia arrive, and Sydney very quickly kicks Turbo off, says stop, and then Olivia drops off the Stairmaster. So it just boils down to a 1v1 between Sydney and Jeremy, and that also kind of frustrates me because it's like, why even have 4 Stairmasters if this whole checkpoint just devolves to people doing 1v1s? Where's the penalty for these half of each team dropping off and just not doing the checkpoint? Like, I don't know. To your point about how it seems a bit poorly constructed, or it seems like they could have, literally done anything else. You can't help but poke holes in this 4th checkpoint, which again is like, the way that the episode was framing it, the last portion of this section of the final. So it's kind of a big deal. And for it to just be a little bit oddly framed is aggravating. But either way, so Jeremy goes down, he misses a step, and he's cooked. Sydney and Turbo end day 1 in first, which makes so much sense given Sydney's efforts and her performance today. Like, they just blew past every other team in every checkpoint from the beginning.
Hold up, though, Ben, because her beating Jeremy was really impressive.
Yes.
When I saw him get up there and Sydney on the other side, first off, she was like mean mugging him, which I thought was gangster. Because it's like, on paper, she should be a huge underdog in this.
Oh yeah, on a Stairmaster against an ultra marathon runner. Yeah.
And the guy who just when I think back to the challenge episode 0, Jeremy's blowing up this mountain. So to me, it's like, this should be this guy's bread and butter. He somehow loses to her. That was really, really impressive, and she should be commended for that.
Bro, it looked like she could go for another half an hour,
2 days.
And it reminds me of the daily challenge where they had to do the Stairmaster, and again, Turbo he fell off very quickly that day, and Sydney just stood on it for 20 minutes answering trivia question after trivia question. Yeah. This is clearly
her cardio.
She's a Stairmaster juggernaut, dude. When Planet Fitness sees her coming, the Stairmaster machine starts shaking.
It starts shaking. They have to replace that Stairmaster every year because she's on it so much.
You're burning shred on the Stairmaster. Yeah. Come on, have some mercy. But okay, so here's what's tricky about this though: is now Jeremy and Olivia have to instantly hop back on to go against Cedric and Michaela, which is like, that's what we were just speaking about. One of the issues with doing this head-to-head and then losing is now you could be completely at the,
Ironically, Ben, it also means that the second-place team has a disadvantage against the third-place team.
Yeah.
So it makes this challenge even stupider.
Stupider, or it's just that's how high the stakes are. Like, if you fuck up one time, then boom, it's a little slippery slope, which I don't think is entirely compelling. I don't think it's as compelling as it could have been, but like, you know, it's just I don't know, and that's exactly what happens. Like, Olivia and Cedric wind up doing a 1v1 because Jeremy, you know, sacrificed his soul a couple moments ago, and Michaela literally again has an entire infirmary wrapped around her, so many bandages, visibly in pain, and I have it here in the notes. I just haven't seen this from Michaela at all this entire season, which it plants in my mind that there could be some truth within it. But either way, Olivia says, I got to save my legs again. And Cedric and Michaela finish second. They go to the helicopter. And I just, that
Dude,
kind of irritated me, bro.
Saving your legs for what?
For what? Like,
your partner didn't. Your partner went all out and lost. And now you're not even going to try. Saving your legs for what, dude?
Yeah.
They know that this is the last challenge of the day, correct?
Or they believe it is. They think that this is it, and they're going to get in a helicopter, and then that's going to progress to whatever is next. And it's
so you don't know how important this is going to be for the next day.
Right.
And you're going to save your
idea.
legs. Shut up, man. Insane. Insane play from her. Again, ever since her partnership with Jeremy, she's been...
let
number
Jeremy
2,
do
dude.
everything.
Yeah, like, Jeremy, please take this. I even think of the geography challenge. She's standing there saying to him, like, I don't know any of these things.
She's like, I got Alaska, and that's kind of, you know, that's about it.
Which is not a country, so who cares?
It is a country.
Anyways, they bring up... Yeah, okay. No, it isn't. They bring up, again... Wow, she's whitewater rafted because she lived in Alaska before. Okay, dude, shut up.
Bro,
you can do that
want
anywhere
you
in the freaking North America, dog. Like, oh my god.
I want you to know, every season she finds ways to bring up that she's from Alaska, which is deeply funny to me. And I love that without that knowledge, you are like, I'm over it. I don't need to know about Alaska.
Well, with all due respect to Alaska, shout out to my boys up in Alaska.
Yeah.
Canada is like Alaska, but way, way, way bigger. And so I feel like Americans are like, oh, Alaska is the last frontier. And I'm like, yo, there's a whole country. It's the second biggest country in the world in between that, where that's kind of the same deal. So I just don't like... I'm not like tipping my hat to like, Alaska. Like that's my whole country. But anyways, I digress.
So Jeremy pissed off because, again, you know, Olivia saying, I got to save my legs. Yeah, for what?
Dude, that drove me insane. Like, I was like, what are you saving your legs for?
Yeah.
Just lose. You know, like, do anything other than don't say, I'm quitting. Like, just lose at least, you know?
Yeah, like, go out on your shield, fall off the Stairmaster. Pull a Michaela, right? Fall over. I don't know.
Exactly, You've broken your ankle.
Oh, my God, my ankle. No, but so then Adrienne and Theo arrive, and they go up against Olivia and Jeremy. Jeremy ends up 1v1ing with Adrienne. Eventually, Adrienne gives up. They get a 15-minute penalty. Jeremy and Olivia progress to the helicopter, which takes us to the surprise of Checkpoint 5. So this is Strobe Pond, which is basically you have to swim across a pond, pick up your assigned key, and retrieve it. Nothing. It's just not dynamic. It's just not complex. It's just a swim.
I'm actually okay with that, though, because it was so late in the day.
Sure. I don't have anything...
It was quite difficult.
I didn't say it was easy. Just because something is simple doesn't mean it's easy. It's just one of those things where to end off this episode, you sort of go, you know, I thought the Stairmaster was kind of the big thing. This is a surprise, and it's a little pond swim. Either way, so Sydney elects to swim, and Turbo is again just, come on, man. You talk about integrity, you talk about honor, and then this entire final, you're like, yep, I'll let my partner do everything. Quite literally everything. And I'll whimper and complain the entire time.
Yeah, and the irony, when we think back to what we were talking about 1 second ago, is Sydney dominates the toughest guy in the stair climb, and then goes here and goes, yeah, I'll do this as well. So it comes back down to Olivia, where I'm like, save your legs for what? Like, just do the thing. Just do the thing, you know? Yeah. You're going to be on a helicopter for probably half an hour. Like, you have no idea how long you're going to have to recover from this. You're chilling. Yeah, it's a helicopter. The second I see a helicopter, I know I'm not back in the shit in 2 minutes. You know, it's like the takeoff and land time alone of these things is long enough that I'm going to have some time to recover. So,
and you could probably have some gamesmanship and just sit in the helicopter until they're like, hey, we're going to physically remove you. Like,
it's like,
get me out of here.
they're not just going to dump me out of the helicopter. Like, yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, I digress. Very impressive from Sydney.
Turbo literally says, and I quote, Jeremy has no cardio. He gets tired so easy, which, again, just further frustrates me with Turbo because it's like, bro, after your performance in day one of this final, to have the audacity to try and throw shade at a guy in Jeremy who was, like Sydney, pulling his team along and doing everything he could to put them in a good position. And like, it's so crazy to me how Turbo's true colors have emerged, and maybe people that have watched more seasons of the challenge with him on it are aware, but like, I didn't know him that well coming into it, and when I was in the house, didn't really speak with him too much. He had this aura about him. He always had this aura, and again, he won the daily challenge on episode 2, so like, started off the season, I was like, but it's just like, bro, he's such a bitch. Like, what do you mean you're saying Jeremy has no cardio? You didn't even do the Stairmaster. Like,
throwing stones from a glass house, we would say.
Yeah. But either way, so Cedric and Michaela, right, they came second on the Stairmaster. Cedric swims to grab the key for their team. And I have a little note here which just says, and again, this might not be a big question for you, but imagine if Michaela didn't blow her ankle out, didn't have these ankle issues. It's so easy for me to envision a world in which it's Sydney and Turbo, Cedric and Michaela, neck and neck for this first half of the final, right? Like, I truly believe that if there wasn't any ankle problems, they would have been in excellent position, which is just, it's a shame. That's just what happens sometimes.
Yep.
Okay, so Olivia and Jeremy finally get there to the Strobe Pond, checkpoint 5, the last portion of this first half of the finale.
Well, Ben, we should mention briefly, Jeremy goes back on that stair climber and beats Adrienne.
Right.
So he's double dipped the stair climber at this point.
And
Olivia has not even done it one time authentically.
Right. She gave up
which
both
is
times.
Crazy to me.
And yeah, she gave up against Sydney and Turbo, said I gotta save my legs. Then when she was 1v1ing with Cedric, she gave up, said I gotta save my legs. Didn't do it against Adrienne, which is ultimately what got them onto the helicopter, gets them to the pond. And then what makes it really worse for me, Riley, is she instantly volunteers Jeremy to do the swim, to grab the key. Like, bro, instantly, without hesitation, she goes, oh, so you got that, right? And listen, I've seen this.
What about the water in Alaska?
That's what Jeremy should have said. He should have turned and been like, hey, that cold water looks pretty similar to Alaskan water.
Brings me right back to Anchorage,
That looks like Juneau. No, and I've seen this comment, and a group of the fan base has this opinion, which is Jeremy selected Olivia, therefore Jeremy should do everything. And I heavily disagree with that. I don't know why so many people are buying into that, because Jeremy wanted this, so Jeremy's gonna do everything when the stakes couldn't be higher, right? It doesn't make any sense to me. And again, in this instance where Jeremy basically sacrificed and clawed his way to get them third for Olivia to just, I don't know. And I get this. She's pregnant. Like, she's fully pregnant in this moment, which everyone learns after, filming. I want to say that someone had mentioned that, she kind of knew during filming, like she was having some conversations and missed a period, whatever.
I imagine she would have been pretty confident, yeah. Yeah,
so she was aware, so maybe that could play into it. So give her maybe a slice of benefit of the doubt there. If she's like, I'm pregnant, this is crazy. Like, sure, the challenge is great, but what if I have a miscarriage or something, terrible because of pushing my body?
I mean, God forbid, right? That would be awful.
God forbid. Yeah. So I guess I understand that, but again,
I will say, Ben, though, like watching this and analyzing this as a fan, I don't like to try to give that too much credence.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
I
Just
agree with
because
that.
it kind of ruins the game to be like, oh yeah, she was pregnant the whole time.
It's also not something that's like explicitly, again, and I don't know. It's so hard.
The show does not want us to be considering that, right? Because it's like that kind of, like I said, that kind of ruins the game. She really shouldn't be there at the end of the day if she's that limited.
Yeah. I think there is kind of a rock and a hard place where you can't really explain away the true reasons why her performance is impacted, but then all you're left with is people are shitting on Olivia's performance and letting Jeremy do everything, and it's a weird gray area. But either way, I will say, I still dislike the behavior, and I still dislike some of the choices. Like, again, instantly volunteering Jeremy, not even trying to have a conversation, not even being like, hey, this is really tough, and you've been such a great partner today. Because Jeremy's shown instances of being a good partner.
And I've saved my legs. I've done nothing.
Yeah.
This swim, like we mentioned, Sydney gets it done in 8 minutes. It's not really that big of a swim.
Yeah.
Kind of your moment. Kind of your time to shine here and
literally 4
help
minutes
your
there,
partner
4
out
minutes
a little
back.
bit. Yeah.
And then nope. So it just, it's just a little bit frustrating. And again, like I was just saying, Jeremy has been such a good partner. He's encouraging. He is trying to be as positive as possible, motivating her as much as he can. And I just don't necessarily see that kind of give back from Olivia, which is aggravating. And I don't know, who knows? Maybe it just wasn't shown, maybe it wasn't filmed. I'm not entirely sure, but either way. So Jeremy gets it done. And then Theo and Adrian finally arrive. Their 15 minutes are up. They're the last team, right, all day long. They're the final team to get to this strobe pond. And instantly, kind of just like with Olivia, Theo offers up Adrian immediately. He says, Adrian, do you want to swim? No! I don't want to. I've carried your gigantic 6'6" ass all day long, and I'm tired, and I do not want to swim. And for Theo, like, bro, it just, that really pissed me off, because you see Adrienne getting really emotional. She's literally sobbing as she's putting on the wetsuit. You've got Olivia telling Theo, hey, just fucking swim. And he's just standing there saying, shut up, I don't want to.
No.
I can't, I'm so tired. No.
Yeah. No.
It just, bro, I don't know if I've been more mad at my phone watching this season, you know what I mean, than him in this final. And, like, of course, he puts the cherry on top of maybe the worst performance in a final ever with, hey, you want to swim, right? After doing everything today, you want to jump into the freezing cold. And while she's crying, he's just, like, wrapping her up in the wetsuit, like, no, you got this.
Yeah.
Like, you're good. She's having a breakdown. Like, bro, worst partner ever. It's just, it's crazy. It's fucking crazy.
And to double down on this, it's especially cowardly because the stakes aren't that high for them anymore. Like they've been blown out of the water here.
Yeah,
just do it. Do it. Just man up and do it. And you're gonna be last. You're gonna be last whether you do it or she does it, because she's clearly not in any condition to do this thing.
Right.
She's clearly not in any condition to come close to Sydney's time or anything like that, or even Jeremy's time.
I think it's like she's done everything this day, so Theo, you could just step up a little bit.
And so it's like, bro, like, how about you just have some integrity here? Yeah, really, really pathetic performance. I mean, honestly, it's been the ladies' day today. The ladies, other than Olivia, have really shown up, and let's just give Michaela the benefit of the doubt. If Michaela's actually injured, that's crazy. If she's actually injured, the grit she has shown, it's the other way around, right?
If it's second,
right, it's the other way around, right? So it's, again, that's why I didn't really want to actually kind of give that any
that
real
life by talking about it.
Yeah, right. But if it's the other way around where she's actually injured, she's like one of the biggest dogs that we have on this season. So it was really the ladies' day today. I thought that they showed up and showed out, but some of these dudes, man, oh my god.
I don't know, man. I would say this: it's just the new threats day. Like, it's the rookies that are taking over, and it's so frustrating how all season the vets have manipulated and pulled strings and played this game of, we've got more experience, we've got more know-how. You're just a little rookie, and then in the moment where the stakes couldn't be higher, they just take the biggest of back seats and put on the lousiest performances the entire season. Like, how is it that you've got Theo and Turbo displaying, and Olivia displaying way more urgency and eagerness to compete in random-ass daily challenges in the middle of the season, but then when it's like the final that you've worked your ass off to get to just implode, right? I think we've used the word a couple times. It's the best word for it. They've just imploded and make dumb decisions, have the most horrendous behavior, treat their partners like shit. I don't know, man. It really bugs me how the veterans acted, which leads me to the final big twist of this first half of the final, which is TJ arrives and lines everybody up. This is nighttime. They're by the pond. And he announces that you can stake a claim on anyone else's partner. Doesn't matter the opposite stripe. You can stake on quite literally fucking anybody, which is unreal. Like, I didn't see this twist coming.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and it's not only unreal, right? My only qualm is it makes me think that the points of today are virtually irrelevant for tomorrow.
Yeah. You would, like, in terms of the finish, how people...
Yeah, because it's like, how can we mix up the teams now? If we're halfway through the finale, how can we mix up the teams and the points still make any sense? So to me, I don't know. I thought that was a bit of a red flag. That's all, Ben. It just, I was kind of like, that doesn't really make any sense. That's how I felt about it. I don't think
anyone was getting points, though.
I know. So what the hell was the whole point of anything?
Well, I mean, it's time. It was more time-based. I don't know. I liked it.
Time-based for what?
To get through the checkpoints, to be the first to, do the Stairmaster, get to the helicopter, finish the strobe pond, come in first. There's no points. What do you mean? Like performance points?
I'm saying, like, to place themselves into a good place.
Yeah.
During the finale. We're halfway through the finale. Right. And we're going to mix the teams up. So if we mix the teams up, what was the point?
Well, because it was a surprise twist.
Okay.
I think...
Anyways, no, I digress.
Okay, either way. So let's just entertain it,
We disagree on this. We're entertaining it. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's my thought process. The stakes could not be higher.
Right.
1. 2, the best 2 players could not be more obvious.
Right.
Who are the best 2 players? It's Jeremy and Sydney. They are obviously the best 2 players. Okay? The stakes are $1 million. You have the opportunity to stake. Jeremy should go for Sydney as a partner. 100%.
It might be the most obvious choice of the season. I can't think of a clearer, more rational thing for him to do. He's already staked once, so he's used to polishing off that weapon. Yep,
he has no loyalty to Olivia. He's been with her for 2 minutes.
Yeah, and think, what has she done for him in those 2 minutes? She's just been a bit of an anchor in the entire time they've been a team, and this first half of the final, I think, should clarify to Jeremy that, look, man, to give myself the best chance possible, why not align with, like you mentioned, the other best player, who also is someone that he's been incredibly close with this entire season, right? They're each other number ones. This is like a story made in heaven where me and my closest ally arrived to the final, and now we get the chance to team up and take this on together. How bonkers, right? And then not only do you switch up Jeremy and Sydney becoming a partner, but then you probably would get Turbo, and you'd anchor Olivia with him, and they would probably work together terribly. And so I think guaranteed. So it's like, not only are you improving your own individual chances with a better teammate, but you're also sinking someone else's chances, which only helps you. I'd like to say that I think there's other people that should stake as well, and shockingly, it's just every new threat. I think every new threat should have staked a claim. I think Adrienne should have staked a claim to get away from Theo.
She has to. She has to stake a claim.
Again, brain dead obvious. This guy is such a anchor for you in this moment. And again, you can talk about how they've had decent teamwork at points, and he's been clutch in the eliminations with her. That's all well and good, but guess what? That's the past, and in the present, you're in last place. And this is your final opportunity to kind of equalize things out. So why not stake a claim, right? For Adrienne. And for Cedric, same exact mentality applies. And for like a little bit of a different reason, right? Cedric and Michaela are a fantastic team. And I think they get each other super well. I think they're on the same page, but she is injured. She is not in a shape to run this final effectively. She's wincing in pain. She's bandaging up every, square centimeter of her ankle. Like for Cedric, you should probably think, ooh, is this someone
Adrienne?
Right, Cedric and Adrienne. Yeah. I feel like you could get a complete new threat. Sydney, Jeremy, Cedric, and Adrienne, and then you go Turbo, Olivia, and Theo, and Michaela, and then boom,
and they have no chance.
And the vets
They're
have
fucked.
zero chance. It boils down to then the 4 new threats that have made it to this final. So I just think it's so obvious what they should do, and not to get too crazy ahead of ourselves, but we do get a preview of next week, and Riley, it doesn't seem like anyone staked a claim.
Yeah, and I think it's going to come down to fatigue. That's it.
Yeah.
I think that no one's feeling confident right now. You know, Jeremy's given his all this whole day, and Turbo's done nothing. So Turbo feels great, you know. So even though Turbo's being a baby, he still might have enough energy to beat Jeremy in this current predicament, right? Because Sydney did everything. Like, Jeremy didn't even hop on the stair climber once, and Jeremy had to go toe-to-toe with 2 people and win, you know. And so that's my one thought process. And then Adriana's the same thing. She had to grit through this whole day, drag her partner the whole time, so maybe she's not feeling the sense of confidence that she would. And they weren't really clear about what the stake entails. Like, are we running back up this hill?
Right, yeah. What is the challenge that you got to do? Maybe swim through the pond. Who
again,
knows?
to talk to the producers, it's like, I think that what this stake should have been is a claim. Just say the claim, and then if the person agrees or not, be like, I want to stake on Sydney.
Yeah.
And Sydney then has the opportunity to say yes. And I think that would have been really cool to really mix this up. Because if she could have said no, or she could have said yes. If she says no, now Olivia's like, what the hell, Jeremy?
Right.
And if she says yes, then right, it's a more even playing field, because it just felt like a very uneven playing field right now.
And with like $200,000 on the line for you, right? 212, right, to be exact. I would look at my partner who has been dragging me down all day long and think to myself, I don't fucking owe you anything.
Yep.
I'm here for me. I'm here to win. And at this moment in time, you are sinking my odds of doing that. And for these people, like, I fear that what we're going to do in this opener of the second half of the final is they're going to be like, oh, we've been such a good team all season long, and they've been there for me, and we've done X, Y, or Z, and I'm not going to stake a claim. I'm happy with it. We got here together. We're going to finish it together. Fuck that, right? Like, this is everything on the line. Give yourself the best opportunity, and maybe that's not going to be with someone that you've spent, 80% of this season attached to, and that's okay, because, again, you're here for you, not anybody else, right? Michaela's been so vocal about that, so for, I think Michaela, you could almost, let's flip the argument. Maybe some of the vets could be like, oh, I want Jeremy, or... for
Sydney, they can stake on anyone.
Michaela,
they can do a girl team, can't they? Technically,
yeah. I think there didn't seem like there was any stipulations. You can stake a claim on anyone else's partner. So Michaela definitely.
Nobody trying to stake on Sydney would be insane to me.
Yeah,
because it's like, this is so clearly the most dominant player. Like, it's not actually comparable, which is kind of insane, but it isn't comparable. And to not do that would be crazy to me. Like, do that, get in there, stake that claim on her. Because again, it's like you're saying, if I have a bad teammate, I want to get rid of this person. If I'm a bad teammate, I want the better person. If I'm Olivia, or not Olivia, because she's kind of golden right now.
Right.
But if I'm
Turbo,
like you said,
well, I guess not Turbo,
Michaela or Cedric, everyone should be trying to go for Olivia right now. Just do it. Just go for it.
Michaela, Cedric,
100%.
and Adrienne and Jeremy should totally be thinking about Sydney.
100%.
Theo could certainly try, but I don't know if that would work out, because I think he would still just completely suck, and then. Yeah. I mean, for Theo, it would make sense to try and stake on the best player, but that would be like a punishment to the best player to get Theo as a partner at this point, right? So, I don't know. It's just interesting how this could work out. And again, like I said, I don't think anything's going to happen, which is kind of irritating. But outside of that, the preview for next week looks like it's all going to come down to sprinting to the top of a gigantic mountain. Like, this is... snow-capped peak. This is, you gotta get a huge wide shot to get the full mountain in frame, which is interesting. I mean, I think in a lot of past seasons it's been like that, where, hey, you need to climb 13 miles to win, and I don't know, there's something I like about that, where you're in the Andes Mountains. Obviously, it comes down to climbing one of said mountains. Who knows if that's the only thing that happens in the second half. I would hope that there's maybe some other checkpoints, and then the mountain sprints the end of it. I'd be a little bit bummed.
What was the point of the first half?
Fun.
Yeah. So maybe Olivia was right to I'm just going to save my legs the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, oh, I'm just not really going to do this because this doesn't matter at all.
Right. Which, you know, and
like,
we could look at it from the other side of the coin and, you know, we shit on the vets, you know, talk about their experience. Maybe this is where their experience plays in. They understand, hey, there's no point.
Hey, this is irrelevant. It's just going to be a race to the top tomorrow.
So it's interesting.
Anyways,
and I will say, the last thing I want to mention, the overnight challenge, it looks like you're just simply standing on a log for as long as you possibly can. So to me, this seems like something that Sydney is, again, easily going to dominate.
She's going to win somehow.
And I just don't. Who else is going to stand on a log longer than her? I'm not sure. She hasn't shown any endurance or stamina problems. I have not seen her gassed at all this season. So
she hasn't shown any problems, period.
Yeah, the only problem is just the relentlessly nauseating ego trips. But at the same time, you could make the case that, are they deserved, right? I mean, come on. She's putting in the results. I will say this. I think the only thing I would have loved from Sydney Moore is if she created better drama for TV with, you know, actually talking shit to people's faces and not having that conflict in the house. Back. Yeah, just sitting in the confessional and throwing pot shots. Yeah. Like, I think it would have been better TV, but at the same time, like, it's part of the strategy. Why cause rifts? Why cause problems in the house, which are just gonna influence people to vote against me or dislike me further? Mm-hmm. But, you know, so I get it on one hand, but on the second hand, it's like, hey, you know, let's make a little good TV. But I think that's all we've got in terms of notes for the first half of the final. It's interesting so far, pretty pathetic from some people, really impressive from others, and I think, you know, I think this is a solid start to the end of this season.
Agreed. I will hold my judgment until the end of next episode, because if this episode really had zero standing on anything, then I don't know, I'd be kind of pissed. But if it does come into play tomorrow, then I'd be pretty excited about it. I thought it was a strong fight, though. I thought the episode itself was really good. I just want the stakes to matter. That's all.
There could be penalties, could be like time-based issues, right, hopefully. To kick off. Yeah. You know, you think, hey, Theo and Adrian, you guys have a 9-hour time penalty. Did they get a head start? So we're doing last is first. Okay. Any other thoughts, Riley?
No. I mean, Ben, if you don't have anything else, I'll close this out here. Ladies and gentlemen, like the video, subscribe to the new channel, and watch the Dispatch series. It's really good. And keep tuning into this one. Thanks so much, everybody. And let us know, what is your opinion? What do you think is going to happen next episode? What did you think about this episode? Are you a big fan of Theo? I'm just kidding. Take it easy, guys. Peace.